there's so much that's happened in the last week that I actually had to ask Greg before we started to record, when was that Rutgers game? Well, we haven't done a show since the Rutgers game. It seems like it was forever ago because there was a full weekend of football after it, since it kicked off a Big Ten championship weekend on a Friday night. So we haven't had a chance to talk about at least a win to conclude the season, coming back from 7 down at halftime, if I remember, 14-7 to take the win over Rutgers. So your good impressions from that one?
Again, we're a broken record around here, but turnovers and mistakes, it's just plagues this team left and right. And obviously, probably if you're not playing Rutgers, you don't win that game. And I'm not to take a shot at Rutgers there or anything like that, but but on the positive side, the defense did keep them in that game and give them a chance to win, which they ended up doing. Offensively, it's just such a question mark. Our Adrian Martinez played well at times. Put up some big numbers, put up some big rushing numbers. Then you saw Dedrick Mills get involved finally. Not sure what took him so long to finally start running the ball. And so obviously, just run the ball guy was happy with the outcome of that game. But as an offense, we still haven't seen any progression here. There's no identity right now, and you're relying on your defense just to keep you in the game, and it's not going to happen every week doing that and putting that much pressure on the defense. But looking ahead, though, I like to see a lot of things that I saw on that defensive line really improved, and that's something to hang your hat on and move forward with. You're going to lose a lot of linebacker depth, and you got a lot of young guys there stepping up, and they're going to have to take over the reins. And, a secondary that has some young, talented guys, but you're also going to lose some. And there's some question marks with who might come back and play again. So overall, definitely is nice to send those guys out with a win. It gives you a little bit of hope. But like I said, you're still kind of stuck in the same spot, winning 3 or 4 games, and you're going into year 4 under Scott Frost and his staff, and we haven't really seen any progression yet. So, there's things that we have to look forward to, and hopefully they can get things fixed. And right now is the time to go back and reevaluate yourself, and it starts from the top on down. So, I'm sure that they've got several things that they're talking about, and does that mean personnel moves? Who knows? But like I also mentioned, you're not sure who's all coming back to play yet either for next year. We just learned recently here that senior Bo Wilson's going to move on, and he's put his name into the transfer portal, and I expect a few more of those at least. So, and they have spots open for the reverse. So we don't know what this roster is going to look like yet, and we probably won't know for a few months yet until they get back to it for spring ball.
I've been listening to you looking at the box score just to refresh my memory of this game. And what happened. Again, I had forgotten Dedrick Mills went for 191.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He that's what old school Nebraska, just the run guy, has been clamoring for all season long. And you finally got it, which – yeah, that's the way Nebraska used to win a lot of football games, and a lot of people want to see them bring that type of game back, which kind of makes me think that Nebraska fans like boring football. If you're going to run the ball 60 times a game, right up the middle, but you know what? You got to do it. You got to do what you got to do sometimes to get a win, and that's what they did. And now we want to see a little bit of balance between that, because Dedrick Mills looked like he got stronger and stronger as that game went along. And, the 1-2 punch of him and Adrian Martinez. Adrian carried the ball. What was it, like 19 times too, I think, and all designed runs. So, they really had that run game going, and that was the nice thing that you could see, because they finally played a physical game. That line finally did what you wanted to see them do, and just smash Rutgers in the mouth and keep on driving it down like the pipeline used to do here in Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska used to tell you what they were going to run, and they dared you to stop them. And that's kind of the way that game kind of unfolded once they started getting rolling. But then it leaves a lot of question marks too about, where are these receivers that we've been waiting to see too. So, you got to have that mix to play in the Big Ten. You've got to be able to run the ball, but you got to have that mix too. Because who's won the Big Ten West? You're trailing these teams. Who's the last 3 winners? You got Wisconsin, you got Iowa, you got Northwestern. What do? They run the ball. They run the ball every year in and year out. And that's how you be successful in this league.
Yeah, there's certainly a foundation of running the football. It's not 1975 where you're going to run it 60 times and throw it 8, but it's run first. It's a run first conference, and especially division. But yeah, you got to have balance. Those teams are still throwing the ball 25 times a game, but they're pretty heavy on the run at like 60-40, 65-35, something in that range. So we got a question in here from 11 YPE Central. So I'm going to do a call-in show as soon as we're done with our Nebraska show here. So I'll be taking your calls. So hang on right here, and I'll take your calls after our Nebraska show. And the comment made here by Paul, and we appreciate, we got a super chat coming in, and I will post that and get to that in just a second. But Paul reminds me here that since it's bowl season, he's saying Hawkeye baby, there's a different approach by different fan bases, Greg. So I want to get a good read from you and the Nebraska fan base, especially being a newer member to the Big Ten, because you've got, most famously in the SEC, they seem to all root for each other.
Oh,
then
yeah.
you've got maybe other. It seems to me that after the SEC, that the Big Ten is maybe the second league that seems to be the most unified to a certain extent. Maybe just it just kind of feels that way. And I grew up in Ohio, lived there most of my life, and still have strong ties there. So I know what I'm talking about. And I worked in the SEC for 8 years, and it's just, you don't even have to live or work down there. You just know, you can see it. No other place do you go to NCAA basketball tournaments and they're chanting SEC or bowl games. But I find it interesting talking to different fans and hearing the feedback, because some of them maintain that, we're Michigan fans, we hate Michigan State, so we don't even root for them in bowl games. And other people have this conference allegiance where the team that they hated the most 3 weeks ago, now they're rooting for them in a bowl game. Do you think Nebraska fans really have much allegiance to the Big Ten or root for the Big Ten during bowl play?
I would say yes and no. Obviously, I think when the conference is doing well and say that they're like 6-2 right now in bowl games, I think that's something that they hang their hats on, and they're going to root for that. But individually, I don't think they're going to be rooting for that team whatsoever. Nebraska fans they're kind of in their own world that way. It's kind of like us against the world type of a mentality. And, it's like that was started from a Iowa, fan. And I would probably say to a T, I don't think there's hardly any Husker fans that care one way or the other if Iowa wins their bowl game or not. But if it's on that conference side, oh yeah, Big Ten, they won, they beat the SEC, yay! That's good. Yeah, we'll take that. But Nebraska fans probably aren't going to go out of their way to even tell you that, though, because they are regarded as a one of the nicest fan bases as far as when other fans come around here. And I haven't seen that. I spent 10 years too living in Nashville covering SEC stuff, and yeah, it's a different monster down there. But with the one thing of the bowls, though, Nebraska fans, they hold that so special. as it's like a reward. And the bowl community knows how big Nebraska travels for a bowl game, and you can be have a sub 500 record and make it in there, and they'll still go follow you to that bowl game. But and that's just kind of the way. There's nothing else really for people to get behind in this state. So they hold that bowl game is very special. That used to be like somebody's holidays were planned around that bowl trip, and they wanted to know exactly where they were going because they already had pre-purchased tickets to some places that they thought they might be going to. So it's like I said, it's a Christmas present around here, and they haven't had that for 4 years now, and I think it makes this bowl season much different. And I don't know if people are really that much into it. We've seen so many schools turn down bowl games already. There's no fans there. None of that fun stuff that you get to do on a bowl trip is going on. You don't get to go spend your Best Buy gift card that they give you on a spending spree, that kind of stuff. And it's basically you go practice somewhere and you're locked in a hotel. So how much of a reward is this this season?
Yeah, Nebraska, if I remember correctly, was part of a very, very small collection of teams that were the first collection under that 5-7 rule that losing record teams could make bowl games, and they took on UCLA that year and pulled off a pretty nice little upset against UCLA in a bowl game. UCLA, I think, was 8-4 in that one with Tommy Armstrong and company, which might have been Nebraska's last bowl victory.
Yeah, it was. Barney Cotton was actually the interim head coach for that game because Mike Riley was there watching it. Mike Riley had just been hired, and that was their last bowl win.